Sorry about the long absence. Again. I thought I would have my new video card by now. I do not. It should be very soon though. I've actually been having issues with BSODs as my old hard drives are failing, and I'm in the process of moving over to new ones. I really didn't want to make more videos until I had all that sorted out, but fuck it, here I am. Before I continue, I'm sorry if I sound a little off compared to how I did before. I feel like I do. I caught something over a month ago. I've had a cough ever since. I've been tested for the plague, but it was negative, so I don't know what I got, but something has stuck around and really messed my throat up. It's not been a fun ride, that's for sure. Regardless, I caught wind of this new game in closed beta, Rogue Company, and I instantly knew I would be falling in love with it. It's got a modernized version of APB's combat, Counter-Strike's match structure, more or less, a little dash of Overwatch, and some Battle Royale style mechanics thrown in as well. I should explain, but first, I want to say, this is a gameplay impressions video, not a review. I can't review a game that isn't even officially released yet. Well, I could, but it would be asinine. It does feel a lot like APB. There are other third-person shooters, perhaps, with shoulder switching, a focus on flanking, situational awareness, map knowledge, anticipating flanks, etc., but it feels like more than that. It feels like this game has APB baked into its DNA, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. My APB experience and instincts have translated pretty well over to Rogue Company, though I'm pretty rusty, and there are certainly differences. All said, however, I'm very happy with how Rogue Company works out in the combat department, and just the general way characters control, and though it is a little more restrictive than APB, such as not being able to sprint side to side or backwards, I think those things probably led to some janky gameplay in APB, so those are good changes. It also has mantling, hopping over objects, a dodge roll, popping up from cover use, etc. It actually works out very well. It all adds to an overall very tactical experience. You may be wondering why I'm using language like changes, as if APB was some earlier version of the same game. It's a valid question, they're clearly not the same game. But, while I have no idea if the devs of Rogue Company have played APB, it feels like they did. That's why I'm drawing such heavy comparisons, and I don't think it's a bad thing. As for the Counter-Strike elements, at the beginning of each round of a match, you can open a store and buy from it. However, each rogue, what they call a hero character, has a specific loadout. You have a selection of 2 primary weapons, your secondary weapon, a melee weapon, 2 devices such as grenades or mines, and a series of perks. Rogues sometimes share equipment, but each one has a unique loadout. Each weapon and item can be bought, then upgraded for additional cash. The perks cannot be upgraded in that way, however. It should be noted that perks often have synergy with one another, or with the passive ability of the rogue in question. Each match is a series of rounds wherein you must compete with the enemy team over an objective. Right now there are 2 game modes, both of which involve 2 teams of 4 players, Demolition and Strikeout. In Demolition, each team member has only 1 life, and one team has to plant a bomb, while the other team must prevent them from doing so. However, the round also ends if the entirety of one team is eliminated, which is actually how it seems to go for the most part. In Strikeout, each round sees a different capture point appear on the map. Both teams have a collective pool of 12 extra lives and have to capture and hold the point. You win by either holding the point or by draining the enemies of their extra lives and killing them all. Naturally. I did say, though, that it borrowed a bit from Overwatch, or really the whole hero shooter genre in general. I actually like how they handled it. It's clear to me that the devs wanted the combat to remain grounded and not turn into something like Overwatch, which feels less like a skill-based shooter and more of a race to see which team can bury the other in the most ultimate abilities. Not that I think Overwatch ever pretended to be anything but what it is. Regardless, in Rogue Company, that bit has been trimmed down significantly, so that each rogue only has 1 active ability and 1 passive ability. Those abilities can be strong, but none of them feel game-breaking or over the top to the point that they can make up for a lack of shooting skill. Quite the contrary, as many of them are situational, and they all seem to have a pretty long cooldown. At the end of the day, the special abilities will help you out, but situational awareness, positioning, and good shooting are what's going to win most matches. Not to mention cooperation. What this game has borrowed from the Battle Royale genre is pretty obvious. You start your round in a dropship, which is actually where you do your store buying and upgrading, and then you jump out and glide towards your play area. It's actually pretty cool, and I really enjoy it. Likewise, when you're reduced to 0 health, you're downed, but you're not out yet. It's almost like they call it down but not out. I'm not funny. You can crawl around, and if you are fortunate, a teammate will revive you. Good teamwork here can really turn the tide of the game. In my opinion, it adds an extra layer of strategy to the game. That covers basically everything, but honestly, I want to talk about the maps. And this is the one downside. The maps, while well designed and really cool, are very small. This can occasionally lead to imbalances. In Demolition, you have to plant the bomb at your choice of 2 spots, and therefore the defenders must be able to anticipate where the enemy will take their bomb. You can see the enemy flying down from their dropship, and that helps some, but there's no way to tell which one has the bomb, which is fine. I think Demolition works well for what it does. I think the real issue comes in with Strikeout. In Demolition, the bomb points are always the same, and they are in pretty balanced spots for the most part. In Strikeout, which is actually my favorite mode, there's a much larger selection of points, one of which will be chosen at random each round. Some of those are much closer to one team's drop than the others, and if that spot also happens to be very easily defensible, that can mean that the closest team to it gets there first, locks it down, and probably wins. It's a minor gripe though. It doesn't happen every match, but it happens often enough for me to make note of it. Overall, the game's balance feels pretty good, though obviously some rogues are better or worse than others. The real outliers right now seem to be Lancer, who is absurdly good and has amazing synergy in her perks and abilities, and Trench, who is widely considered to be basically terrible. I actually do have confidence that the devs will sort it out though. They seem to be taking feedback well, and I'm looking forward to what they do in the future. I really have a lot of hope. I guess my biggest concern is the potential addition of what I would call the silliness factor. The game has a really grounded look and feel, and I would sorely hate it if that was ruined by cosmetics that ventured too far away from that. I know they're going to be selling cosmetics such as character skins, weapon paints, wingsuits, etc. I support that. But if I have to watch a clown version of Dallas sail out of the frickin' dropship on a bunch of balloons, I am going to throw my keyboard. Anyways, game is a lot of fun. I recommend checking it out if you can. I think there are still beta keys to be had on Twitch drops right now, but I don't know how long they will last. I will leave info in the dilly-doo down below on how to set that up for yourself. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, etc. You know, if you feel I'm worth it. I understand if you don't. I'm not that important. Gotcha. How'd the emotional blackmail go? Did it work?